Hey everybody, Spidey here, and as always, I hope you're having a marvelous day. I am, because I'm back with my friends, the one and only Dan Santos. How's it going?
Hey, good to see you.
And the legend, if you don't know it already, Khang the Conqueror. Is that a fair assessment?
I was joking that if you look closely hard enough, I appear in Dan's Ken painting in the
Uh, it's got quite a few Kangs back there, so you're one of the variants. I love that. The Khang painting, which didn't make the release, right?
It
No,
did
Uh,
not.
I know.
yeah.
I
If
think it
you're
was featured
intrigued, go
in the
ahead.
poster, but that was it.
Yeah. Well, if you're
Yeah, so
intrigued by the title, yeah. So we did get a glimpse of it. But if you're intrigued by the title, the unbelievable ending of 2022 Marvel Masterpieces, um, I think, of course, Masterpieces is going to continue on, and it's going to continue to be important and, a legend in its own right. But in terms of just the journey for Masterpieces, in terms of the cards and the art, there's still been a piece of art that has really not made an appearance, right? Beyond what's on the card. And I think this is the last time you all were on the stream with me. Kang had hit an OA redemption card and sent it in and received an original art painting and did that reveal. And that reveal was of Thor, which was incredible. It was an incredible moment on the channel. Although it was a little bit of a sadness to see how it was packaged. It was still a fun moment. But that story is continued. So Kang, do you really want to pick it up from there and kind of continue that story?
Yeah. So uh, that was indeed a bittersweet day. Like it was, we were, I think, 4 months of anticipation in terms of, you know, I really hope it's Spider-Man. I really hope it's Spider-Man. And it ended up not being that. But the saving grace is Dan's beautiful art. So
Yep.
I did a lot with that painting. I framed it. I tried to chase all the parallels and everything. It was a wonderful experience. But as you guys know, EPac was released a week and a half ago now, right? It sold out in less than 2 days, and part of
It's
that was we
intense.
were all kind of everybody was expecting that second redemption card to be in the
Right.
EPac release, and it was right. Uh, but it was labeled Thor, which was really intriguing to me, given that I had the Thor in my possession. So it felt like a little bit of slap in the face, but I rolled with it. And then a really good friend of mine who is very familiar
by
with
the way,
the situation. Sorry, Dan.
the only reason I bought EPac at all was hoping to get one of those redemption cards. And so we all
Yeah.
saw that it said Thor on the thing. We thought this must be an error. Like that's Spidey is out there up for grabs. So it's like let's
Right.
Right.
buy more of this.
I certainly bought more
Yeah,
than
I
I
think everybody was
anticipated
hoping that.
for that reason, right? Like, hey, I want that chance.
Yeah, I think it only took about 6 hours for it to be hit, so really fast. But for those who were
Yeah, I think
paying
I remember
attention,
texting
it
from
was
you
labeled
at
Thor.
like 1 a.m. that it got hit. And like I was like
Yeah.
refreshing that page to see if that card got pulled, and it got pulled late at night, and I saw it there, and I was like, oh, it got pulled. I think I immediately like emailed the guy, be like, you want to sell this store? This store?
Right? Yeah. Dan, Thor.
Little did I
How
know
many,
I was
I wonder
protecting him from you,
How
Dan.
many Thor messages he got.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I reached out to the guy too, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know if you know what you have on your hands here, but just in case anybody's trying to like, get a good trade from you, I want you to know that that's probably the hit of the entire set." So
Right.
I
If
explained
anybody's
to him
trying to
that
fool you, yeah, I got
yeah, that I
it.
had the Thor in physical, and they mislabeled it, and it's definitely Spider-Man because there's no way that there's two Thors. And he didn't seem to really understand the situation, but I did my best to try to explain it to him. But then a good friend of mine who was very familiar with the circumstances, he called me. He's like, "Hey, I really feel like if I were in your position, I would try to write to Upper Deck, which I had already wanted to write to them to kind of express my discontent with how the set played out, in terms of how long the delays were for EPac and how they kind of treated or handled the redemption process and so many other things, the QA problems and the missing colored canvas parallels and things of that nature. But he was like, no, I really want you to advocate for yourself and tell them that you believe that they sent you the wrong redemption because prior to this, we were all feeling a little off about the fact that we all kind of not just anticipated Spider-Man, but like, there were little clues like, oh, this is artwork redemption number one, right? Because there's 1 and 2, and Spider-Man came before Thor. It just seemed natural,
Yeah.
and maybe it was all
Alphabetically
wishful thinking.
too, right? Like
Mhm.
the official check released in physical said like it was 1 and 2, Spidey and then Thor,
Mhm.
right?
But there were no other things that could really corroborate that stance until the EPac release when they were like, "This is Thor." So I took his advice and I wrote to Upper Deck and I consulted you, Dan. I was like, do you think that this is a good idea? And you're like, no, I think you should do it. That's a great idea. So I did it and I wrote a really impassioned like maybe 6 paragraph email to them, kind of going over all of it. And then ultimately the response was, "Hey, Kang, so what exactly are you asking here?" So it was kind of on par in terms of what I expected Upper Deck customer service to respond, given the horror stories that I've heard in the past. But then we exchanged a number of emails beyond that, and to their credit, they said, actually, you're right. They acknowledged that they probably did send the wrong one out because we felt like based off how fast the Thor was packaged together and it was just in a flat rate envelope and there was no other care or consideration involved, we thought maybe that selection process also suffered from that same lackadaisical care. And so they said, if you can securely send the Thor back to us, we will send you out a Spider-Man. And I chuckled at that, but I jumped at the opportunity. I overnighted it, and it arrived the next morning. And then a few days later, they sent me tracking, and sure enough, yesterday I received the package. So I'm gonna debut it here for you guys. Let me switch my camera around.
Nice.
Dang,
Check.
can you believe this, Dan?
I'm, no,
gotta do
no, I
this.
know.
It won't change. 1 second.
You're frozen.
One of these, yeah, I'm messing with the camera settings so that I can see if I can switch it to. Let me see if this works. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sometimes you have to back out and back in. Yeah.
Well, he has an Android, so y'all give him some grace.
No. Now it's just
Thanks,
not.
Mark.
It just doesn't want. Sorry.
You're
Technical
fine.
difficulties. I wonder why it's just not. My cameras. All right, let me
Is this
back
where
out
I,
real quick, and I'll
is this where I
switch
end the
cameras.
stream and everybody just wonders
No,
what
I'll be.
you were going to reveal? All right, it'll be just me and Dan for a second. So, look, you and I were on the camera together whenever the Thor was revealed, and I was really impressed with the way you held it together, seeing that packaging the way it was.
Okay. No, you just are getting a small taste of what I've had to deal with for like. I mean, I think all of us were a little disappointed with how EPac went down a little bit. There's still great fun to be had, and there were great parallels, but it was like
Yes.
15 pieces of art, bad quality control. 15, not just 15 missing pieces of art, 15 missing pieces of art after I was promised they'd be in there. And it's just like, why are they not in here? And then, yeah, and then missing canvas cards, like no parallels there.
Yeah.
So like that was only in full and little stuff like this, just like it just I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's
It adds up,
somehow leaves
doesn't it?
a bad taste. Yeah, it does.
And
To their
for the
credit, though, they were asking like, "What are you actually asking us here?" And I told them I was like, "Just tell them what you want to do. Like they are
Mhm.
not malicious. They're just I don't want to use the word incompetent, but I think there's a lack of communication that happens at Upper Deck or whatever it is. The result is incompetence.
Right.
And I think if they're nice about it, if you just tell them what you want, they usually make good on it. If you say, "I got this card in bad condition," they'll try to send you something. somebody was missing part of their uncut sheet, and I think that finally got resolved. So I'm
Right.
glad this worked out for Khang.
The camera switch didn't work, so I'm just gonna use it like this. All right, you're just gonna.
Well,
So
you gotta
here I
get
have
a big
with me
screen.
some of my daughter's library books, but here I
What
have.
could happen?
All right, and I gotta. All right, so for you guys,
There's the
and Dan, this painting is so ridiculous. I have no words. So I received it yesterday, and I was speechless for quite a while, and just my whole body was kind of tingling, not for the for the sequence of events that took place for this to transpire, but also like I was just so captivated by what you produce here that I I'm speechless right now just thinking about it.
Thanks. It
But
really is
yeah,
one of my favorites of the set.
it's
Certainly the best
insane
Spidey.
how good this is.
I remember the first time I saw it, and it just was just blown away because we see a lot of Spider-Man, right? So it takes something really special to send it over the top in terms of like this is incredible, and even though it's not as dynamic, right, as the Battle Spectre gem or as big of a storytelling piece as the base card, it's so incredibly stunning. It's I don't know. It's just hard to put into words how spectacular, to use the Spider-Man word, it is. And Kang, for it to be with you at your home, for you to be able to enjoy in person, knowing the kind of guy you are, and what a blessing you are to so many, makes me even more happy.
It's at a good home. Man, it's the home it should have been in. Like,
Yep.
fair is fair. It should have been yours from day one. So congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
And I can't recall. Did you get
yeah.
to see this painting in person?
You talking to me?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, did you get to see this one in person? I can't remember.
I did not. You had it on the screen. It was not. You had
I
already given it to Upper Deck, I think. Whenever
had already
we.
mailed it in. I
Mhm.
did send that one in early. It really is like the original. I almost the camera never does it justice, but that
No.
one really does. Those reds glow. I love that one.
Well, I think this means that Kang has to come to OAX because he has to bring the painting. I'm still working on that. Lonzo's pretty happy for you. He says it's a special brotherhood to own a Spider-Man from Marvel Masterpieces, which he recently joined. We have
fair.
way too many,
That's
many
fair.
comments. What's that, Dan?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's not what Alonzo was saying is true. There's not too many people that own an original Spider-Man from a masterpiece set. There's not that many to go around,
100%.
I'll take as many pictures as I can to kind of share it with the community, just how insane this painting is. But it has made my absolute. This is the pinnacle of my collection career thus far. Like you know, I yeah,
I don't know how you're going to top it, Kang.
I don't think I
So
can. I really don't think I can.
Well, if I can, and Dan, I want you to speak to it too, but to put it in further context, there are people who own Spider-Man masterpieces. They bought the paintings. You pulled it out of a pack. You pulled
Yeah,
the top. I mean, there's a chance, and there's, how you would look at it, but there's a chance you pulled the top hit in Marvel cards for all time. There were masterpiece redemptions in 1996 Marvel masterpieces. I don't know who pulled them. I don't know if they ever were pulled or the paintings were ever truly redeemed with a card. I can't think of a bigger card that could be pulled than the original art of Spider-Man for masterpieces, and to be this painting for what might be the last Marvel masterpiece that we get. It's
right.
incredible.
yeah, and to be fair, I wasn't even going to give them Spidey. It was in my contract that I get to choose which paintings I give them, and I was not going to give them like the best painting from the set. And they begged for this, and despite my contract, I could have just said no. Like my contract states otherwise, but I thought they had, because I was unfamiliar with the redemptions at this point. Like I just hadn't experienced redemption cards. I thought Upper Deck was just trying to take it for their offices. Like lots of times companies will do that. Like, oh, and you have
Yeah.
5 originals. And then when I found out it was to be given away, that they weren't keeping it, and I was like, yeah, maybe I'll part with the small Spidey. And I'm glad. I'm glad it's in there, and that it was such a big hit.
Absolutely. And the day he pulled it, I remember, Dan, you were talking about opening up some boxes to try to pull it yourself. And Khang
Yeah.
pulled it the same day. And in a way, this, the Marvel card hobby is still actually a small community, but in a way, it feels like we all did it together. At least for me. I know others may not feel that way, but for Khang to
No,
have shared his journey with all of us makes it where we can all feel like we're a part of it.
we definitely did, because
Yeah,
one of the downsides of this community is the impulses that we give into, and this was certainly an impulse journey for me, but it's made better by just how incredible Dan's art is, his contribution to this set.
Mhm.
So impulse away, right? But yeah, it's definitely a communal effort to, and especially with EPac. Just this was my first EPac experience, and just kind of seeing people kind of band together and help each other out, like in all sorts of ways. Whether that's directly trading with them, or knowing somebody else who has something, or showing people how EPac works. Or we had that one right at the end where the canvas redemptions were almost gone, and then they all banded together and said, hey, let's do a duck race. Like those types of interactions within our community is so special, and it makes collecting so much more unique than just I'm just gonna buy some boxes, some packs, some cases, or what have you. It's not the same at all. So yeah, I love what our community has for each other.
Beautifully said.
yeah. Can you imagine if you didn't get redeemed? Like just like it was,
Oh,
if you didn't get it swapped out, and it was just sitting in some physical box to never get redeemed, would be crushing.
mhm.
I'm so glad it got pulled.
I
I
want
Yeah.
to say I heard through the grapevine, or in passing, that for the 96 redemptions, maybe 5 or 6 paintings had that fate, and nobody knows where
Mm.
they ended up.
Heartbreaking.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Uh,
I'm hoping that doesn't happen. You mentioned, oh no, Rich was mentioning it. There's a lot of PA redemptions out there, and I have not seen a fraction of them get pulled that I know about. Like
mhm.
less than half, sure. And now that, and EPac is all gone, right? I
Yeah.
forget. Have you checked recently about how many PA redemptions got pulled on EPac? I know we can see in the
I
collection
have not
sometimes,
actually.
but there's
I hope that
60
those who
out there.
did pull are aware of the deadline for the redemption, which is, a month and a half from now. Unless Upper Deck does something to honor extent, even the guy who pulled the Thor, his redemption card is still in his EPac. So I certainly hope he sends it home and then redeems it before that is over, or else that
Yeah.
Thor is staying at Upper Deck.
You got a couple people already asking price, Kang. Is this ever for sale?
This is not ever going to be for sale unless something really tragic happens to my life.
Yeah. We're
Hopefully.
rooting for that not to happen. And so,
Yeah, I hope so too. But yeah, it's
He's homeless Spider-Man painting in the rain.
so
right.
so by the way, like, and Kang, it's your painting, do what you want, right? But this is the guy who pulled the OA card and could have just sold it before anybody knew it was Thor or anybody knew it was Spider-Man. And he didn't. As soon as he was able, he redeemed it, and then he waited on the painting to be delivered. And to me, that just speaks of your affinity to Dan's art and this particular set and the painting, whether it was Thor or Spider-Man. And that's the other part. You hung on to Thor.
Mhm.
You didn't.
I did.
And if you had sold it, which had been your prerogative, right? Then this opportunity to correct a wrong would have never even been available to you. And
Yeah,
so shout
it's so many different coincidences needed to happen. I mean, before this set was released, right? When the previews were around, and that first week that you guys started ripping your cases on your channel and Lewis's channel and Matt's channel, I had written on Blowout that, hey, it's pretty expensive. I'm probably just gonna wait for the IDW book, right? Just to appreciate the art. And next thing you know, I watched your streams and I was hooked for sure. And again, when the redemption actually rolled through, and I was like, if it's Thor, Steve has my painting, right? As in, I was gonna pre-sell it to Steve if it ended up being Thor, and I ended up not doing that because even though I preferred the fan, like the Thor captivated me just as much, and here we are, And so that's all a credit to Dan's mastery of of painting and storytelling, and it's just uh, speechless. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
We need to.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. If you just sat on that card unredeemed, it would have worked itself out after the EPac, which was supposed to be Thor, got redeemed. You would have ended up with this. But yeah, having redeemed it early and taking that gamble, it's I'm glad it worked out.
but
good.
Go ahead, Khang.
I was gonna say, you guys had made a comment that I'm probably one of the only few people or person aside from Dan and Upper Deck to have had both paintings in hand.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, we got to shout out Ryan. Yeah, oh, stop. We got to shout out shout out Ryan McKenna. Ryan McKenna is a dear friend of ours, adores Marvel Masterpieces, but he's the one who played a significant role in Khang buying the box set he did that ended up having the OA redemption card in it. So the story, it's even deeper and richer than what we're sharing here. So.
And I believe Ryan is racking up a bunch of PAs as well, right? Seems to be hunting them down from other people.
He is. He has definitely been a man on a mission with this set. That is for sure. Awesome.
Yeah, and he just got a large private commission, which I'm stoked should be arriving to him soon.
I've seen it.
I can't wait for that official reveal.
Yeah. All right, Khang, I'm going to show something real quick. Yeah, right. The comic covers. So I'm going to show something real quick because yesterday you got your Spidey in the mail, and yesterday I got my Joe Just Go Magic in the mail.
Look at that.
Isn't that incredible?
That is incredible. I love the I don't know if he intended it that way, but the whole vapor wave aesthetic, with the pink and blue hues. I love that.
He nailed it. I mean, it's
look how bright it is. It's the brightest thing in your whole room right now, Justin. There's not a color on camera.
Aside from his smile.
Right.
Great.
Well, and my wife likes it. That's the other thing. If you've ever seen a picture of my wife, she looks a lot like Magic, and it's part of my affinity towards the character, and it's incredible. Super happy to have it.
Talking about things
that is beautiful.
Going in real life, I bet that thing looks incredible in real life.
Yeah, Khang, I bet the Spidey does for sure, and this one does. Yeah, the Magic is. I even like last night put it up and had the room dark and just had a light coming from the bottom, shining from the bottom, and it's crazy how it glows. It's fun stuff.
Bill Sienkiewicz just posted a couple of Magic APs that he did for New York Comic Con, and one of them is just amazing. Like he did like 3 different Magics, but one of them has this like flame coming off her head. It's like one of the best sketch cards I've ever seen. It's great.
I shared it on my Instagram. It's not mine, unfortunately. I'm very grateful to have the one I do have, but congrats to the owner on that one. It is really incredible. So this is quite the end for Masterpieces, right? As we know it, DC Masterpieces is on the horizon. It's not the same as Marvel, but I hope it's a good time for everybody who intends to collect that. But this is to me, this is kind of the end of the journey. Everything else is out there, right? There's nothing else to wonder about, really. I don't think there's any major one-of-ones that
PAs, sketch cards, and cover redemptions are it. I'm hoping to break some boxes with Steve in a week or two, and just the last of our physical stuff, like hunting down those ones of ones. There's
Oh
still
wait,
a
yeah,
lot of like originals.
Yeah, the gold canvas.
the gold canvas
Yeah.
Spidey's out there, Kang.
I asked in the same email trail. I asked them, what is the fate of the colored parallels, because they're not on EPac. The offhand that doesn't seem to support that they were all in physical. Like, so where did they go? Like, I'm sure there's some speculation that maybe, some people said that some of their physical boxes had an extra hit or an extra card in their packs, and it happened to always be a colored canvas. I don't know how true that is, but then there's other reports of, people writing to QA and saying, "Hey, my hit is totally destroyed," and then they would get a colored canvas as a replacement.
Hmm.
But no official word from Upper Deck. So as far as somebody who wants to do, a full rainbow, like we're talking about the OA, the printing plates, all the different parallels. I don't know if you guys saw, but that one collector, Wampa, he has the Hulk Gallery
Yeah,
OA, and he has the gold canvas, and he has the green and the pink and the blue and the red and the printing plates. So he has it all. Is that going to be reproducible for all of the canvases? I hope so, but until we figure out what happened to them, I don't know if that's possible.
well, maybe Steve will pull him in his case, so and
Yeah,
we'll settle that
That
debate.
would be wild.
Uh-huh.
I
It
have
would.
no idea. I honestly have no idea what's with the rest of those cards. Hopefully, they're not just sitting on a shelf in some warehouse and like never to be, like they just get put in packs and there's no card to redeem them or something. But I hope that's not the case.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, look, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on the channel and Kang for this incredible moment. We'll be able to
Oh,
relive it here and to share with everybody. It's a big deal to let people know that you have the OA of Spider-Man, and I think it's
Again,
important. Mhm.
did you keep your Thor frame? You know that painting will fit right in there.
the frame
Exact
I
same.
did. So I imagine the matting choices will have to be a little different because I made the colors to match Thor's gold and blue. So I'll have to reconsider it. But I still have the frame. Yeah, that was a few $100. So yeah.
Congratulations. I like that. That's apt. We're going to be
Yeah,
saying that a lot, I feel like.
100%.
Thank you. Thank
Congratulations. With a little Southern twang, it just rolls right off the tongue. So,
you.
awesome. Well, Kang, any final thoughts here as we wrap it up?
No, I just, I really genuinely appreciate all of the friendships that we've been able to cultivate in this community. And I'm
Mhm.
grateful to Dan and I'm grateful to you for being such a central part of that process. And I hope everybody is able to collect exactly what they want, and to continue on whatever that journey may look like.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
All right.
To answer this
You want-
Thank you.
question, I partake in a set. I would never do a whole set again. Not any time this day.
well, we sure hope we find more of your cards soon somewhere. I know I'm looking forward to it. Hey, everybody, thank you for watching live. If you're catching the replay, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, Marvel card content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You know where to follow Dan. He's got a Patreon. He's got his social channels, his website. Be sure to check it out. And Kang, where do we follow you? Do we?
Congrats.
Nowhere. I mean, I have my socials, but I'm not
Yeah.
somebody in the community that is
All right.
producing anything. So I'm just
You got to keep an eye
happy to
on the
be around.
channel. We'll have him here, and you can hang out with him here when we do. So, but again, everybody, thank you for watching, and as always, I hope you have a marvelous day.
Thank you, everyone.